This station is from a stream to a flowing river. This station is growing bigger and bigger. This station is for all the garrison. No other station in comparison. The Badass station is everywhere. Even when you're shopping in these places, Tesco, Lidl, Sainsbury, and even Morrison, JahBunny station, no stress, no pain, and no altercation. JahBunny Badass station.
And Bunny Dread is in the studio with me. Bunny, hello.
El data.
Now, you're going to have to speak very slowly because I've been trying to have a conversation with you in here, and it is difficult to get to understand you. Bunny, we never get to hear anything, if anything at all, about Jamaica. Can you tell us a bit about what we should know about Jamaica?
Yes. First, what you should know about Jamaica is that Jamaica is a place in the West Indies. And it is one of the places where black people have been free from the day of slavery right through. We have been living free down there, doing our own thing. This is why we even speak the way we speak. Our rejection of the English language. We make our own language, calling it African language, even though we don't know Africa in person.
Okay. Now, let's get to music. Okay. You said to me the first thing you said to me when you walked in here, you said, I'm a Rastafarian. Now, we've heard lots of people call themselves Rastafarians, but what is Rastafarianism?
Rastafarian to some people is a religion. Mm-hmm. To other people like myself, it's a movement. The movement of God people. We look on earth through our elder Marcus Garvey and look for our God through our own spectacle, meaning that a black God. And then we went to the Bible and find Revelation 5:5 that tells us that anyone sit on the throne of David in this time is God Almighty in person. So we look at Haile Selassie I as God in man. Therefore, his name was Rastafari, and we call ourselves the Rastafarian.
And you say it's a movement.
It's a movement, a back to Africa movement. We, the Rastafarian, is the people in the West that cry the most to come home to Africa.
Now, usually people say when one has dreadlocks, they're Rastafarian. Rastafarianism is identified with smoking ganja, smoking the weed, as people say. Now, this is the only way they look at Rastafarianism. Does you said first it was a religion and it is a movement. Does it require you to smoke ganja? Does it require you to have dreadlocks? Does it require you to just listen to reggae music?
No, Rastafarian as a religion is just like any other religion, where you have some people that drink and some don't drink. Mm-hmm. You have people that smoke and some don't smoke. So in Rasta, you have people that don't wear dreadlocks and is Rasta. Mm-hmm. You have people that don't smoke marijuana and they're still Rasta. You have people that smoke weed, eat meat, and they're still Rasta. As a movement, it's a way of life.
Okay. Now, the colors, I see you all green, red, yellow, and black. Your cap, your beads, your suits that you're wearing, everything is red, green, black, and yellow. Are those colors that you have to wear?
Yes, well, the color is the African color.
And I'd like to know what they mean.
Well, the red is for our blood, and the black that shed. The black is for our skin. Mm. The red is for our blood. The gold is for the gold that took away, and the green is for the land.
That's simple enough. Simple enough. Thank you for bringing me the music into the studio. And I must tell you that the music I'm playing here, Bunny wanted to share with us. Okay, so Bunny's sitting in the studio with me. And if you have questions, you may call me, but I'm not going to put them on air. If you'd like to speak with Bunny, find out more about Rastafarianism as a religion, as a movement, and if you'd like to find out more about I wish we really had more time to delve into the movement but Bunny is in South Africa we'll have you back here to chat to us in depth and hopefully take a few calls and compare your movement and compare your religion. But if you'd like to speak with him personally, 08911033377, I'll put him on air for you. Okay?
Good evening, good night, good morning, good afternoon, world. This is the Rastafari International Ambassador, JahBunny, better known as the Badass, the man from Buzzwalk, Wall. And today, I'm gonna put the spotlight on the first set of Rastafarian to ever sojourn in Azania, South Africa, over 35 years ago. Now, 35 years ago, Rastafari in South Africa was at a different level than today. 35 years ago, Rasta in South Africa were in its infant stage. I, JahBunny, is one of the founding father and pioneer from the Rastafari liberation movement to set up HQ in Azania as a liberation freedom fighter. "35 years ago, I met a sister by the name of Cheaper. Cheaper was a young, adventurous African woman from Zambia. Cheaper, having reason with me extend, shared a lot of revolution views at the time. And at the time, the focus was on Azania freedom. Hence, Cheaper was the one that introduced me and took me from Zimbabwe through the back door to South Africa. We end up in Hillbrow. To be exact, we secure an apartment in the Ponte City. I believe it was on the 35th floor. At the time, we were HQ in Aurora, Waterfalls, with Waterfalls at the time was
a Rasta settlement that was run by JahBunny and other Rastas. So I met a lot of Rasta brethren at waterfalls. To high JahBunny, waterfalls was a bit, for lacking a better word, slow for I, because the pace that I move on was like, waterfall was just a settling, like a commune type of settling that the brethren and waterfall didn't deal with the wider public. So I had difficulty with that. Hence, I find myself an African daughter, young, zealous African daughter, and she was the one that inspired me to go and get involved with the armed struggle in Azania. Now, the first set of international Rastafarian brethren that sojourn in Azania were not religious, but we were entrepreneurs. Speaking for myself, I bought a whole studio in Nuremberg, Germany, shipped the studio to Zimbabwe, and I left the equipment with my Zimbabwean brother that was the head of the Star Time group, JJ. So I leave the equipment in Zimbabwe and went to do a fact-finding research in Azania. After settling in Azania, I contact JJ, and JJ brought the equipment over and allow me to set up a studio and a sound system by the name of African Love. At the time, South Africa was going through its first free election. So my sound and studio did a lot of campaigning work for both the PAC and the ANC. Now, I call in Ras Gabriel, Wolde Selassie, Chaser, Tuanda, and other vanguards. As I said, we were entrepreneurs. So we set up a bookshop downtown Jeppe Street, and we contact brethren in the UK, specifically in Leicester. There was a book shop at the time by the name of Rastas. We moved Rastas book shop from Leicester to Johannesburg, Jeppe Street, and we opened a bookshop / storefront / Rasta HQ. We also set up a gazebo shop front outside the post office on Jeppe Street. So we had 2 establishments as a front. We sell merchandise, clothing, shoes, beads, books, tape, music, you name it, we sold it. At the time, it was a team of us. Giza, Wulde Selassie, Tawanda, Cheza, Gabri, and some South African brothers that had joined us from Soweto. Tawanda was the person that would source merchandise from New York, Zimbabwe, and Azania. Cheza would source merchandise from New York, Trinidad, Zimbabwe, South Africa. Gabri would be the roadman who would be traveling between Cape Town, Zambia, Botswana, Zimbabwe, Botswana, Johannesburg, and the southern region. I would be in charge of the studio runnings, the sound runnings, recording. Wulde Selassie would be in charge of running the stall opposite the post office. Giza would source the computer tech side of things, and in doing so, make contact with the universities and the places of learning. Now, we were not in the practice of doctrinating anyone. We were just Rastas and spread the love, the music. As I said, it was I and Wulde Selassie who first went to Anyabingi in Orange Free State. And at that Nyabingi, that's when I first learned that there was no tabernacle. It was just a gathering, informal gathering in open space. At my first Nyabingi, I was shocked by what was being practiced. And knew that I had to make some type of effort to bring in international help to facilitate the movement and strengthen the movement in South Africa. It is fair to say, amongst all the brethren at the time on the ground in Azania, I was the most international connected brethren due to the fact that I was actually not only the son of Mortimer Planner, but a Rasta baby that had come up through the bloodline and connection with all the elders outside of Claudius Henry, Percival Howell, Bedward, and that generation. Today, as we go along now, Rasta is in conflict as to who will lead what and who will lead who. 30 years ago, on the ground in South Africa, we were just Rastas. There were no such thing as division as to tribal decision. 30 years ago, I didn't feel any tribal isolation. 30 years ago, emphasis was not placed on whether you're Nyabingi, 12 tribe, or any houses. 30 years ago, Rasta was just Rasta in South Africa. Today, I'm on the Asian Council platform, and all I can hear is squabbling as to who lead what, who want to lead this, who want to lead that. I think the solution is simple. As Rasta, we should recognize and respect each other as Rasta. The problem is today, globally, Rasta are now fighting to join Babylon. Babylon is Babylon. Babylon in South Africa is no different from Babylon in Zimbabwe. Babylon in Ethiopia and Babylon in Ghana, Kenya is Babylon. Babylon is Babylon. So there's no such thing as Babylon in the West is different from Babylon in Africa. Babylon have one agenda. Wherever it is one agenda. So Babylon in Jamaica is still Babylon. So the problem is Rasta now. I don't know how Rasta get it in them head that some Babylon is different from some Babylon. JahBunny, is here to beat down Babylon wherever I find it. Simple. It make no difference to I whether Babylon is in Africa, America, Canada, or Jamaica. Babylon is just Babylon. So I have to get that straight. The next thing that I need to get straight is shutting the gate. There's no such thing as a good Babylon versus a bad Babylon. Babylon stand on the same principle wherever you go. So, with that, I would like you all to penetrate Babylon and fix up. Catch you at some other time when the vibes move high. I like to speak like this because I like to leave that room for your thought. But make sure your thought is positive. Because it's positive and negative. So until such time, stand firm and know that Babylon is Babylon. Greetings, Nyabingi Asian Council. This is Rastafari, JahBunny, International Ambassador. As the ones will overstand, I personally is not trying to take no responsibility in terms of personally making any claim or anything when it comes to establishing Rastafari in South Africa. So please don't get this twisted. However, I am here telling My chronicle and my involvement in the Rasta development in South Africa as a Rastafari international vanguard and a Rasta baby. Now, for those of you who might just hear or caught onto the name JahBunny or Badass, my name is complex because JahBunny is a Rasta baby. Badass is a revolutionary fighter. And as I made it clear that I came to Azania as a freedom fighter and a Rasta baby. So I was not in South Africa and Rasta business. I was there as a vanguard to help free Azania. I came to Zimbabwe and the Rasta connection in Zimbabwe. So I first met JahBunny in Zimbabwe, Owari, Waterfalls, the camp, the Rasta camp, Waterfalls. At some stage, I also met Ras Gabri, Tiwanda, Chiesa, Wole Selassie, Sakuro, Jabi, and many other Rastafari brethren and sisters in Zimbabwe. However, coming up to the first election in South Africa, it was me, myself, and a daughter by the name of Chipo, Sister Chipo. It was I and Chipo who came to Azania, and we end up in Yeoville, and I rent an apartment in the Ponte City. I open a studio in the Ponte City, and then I contact my brethren, Ras Gabri, Tuwanda, Cheza, Wole Selassie, and organize. And all these brethren came to my house in the Ponte City. We end up renting 2 apartments in the Ponte City and function out the Ponte City. At one stage, we end up moving out the Ponte City and went to live in Yeoville. Now, we also opened a shop front downtown Jeppe Street, and the shop front was also the Rastafari International HQ. Now, as I said, all the brethren them have now deceased. except for Ras Giza and Ras JahBunny. I don't know what JahBunny agenda is, but JahBunny knows I well. JahBunny has visited I here in London several times. JahBunny motive is very personal. So JahBunny only reach out to I when he need help in his personal capacity. JahBunny is there, and JahBunny, if he wish to speak the truth, he can establish that we were the first Rasta HQ in South Africa. When I say we were the first because we were international. But there was always Rasta in South Africa. In terms of Bongo Wata coming to South Africa, there is certain things that, again, I don't know why people won't speak the truth. Bongo Wata did not come to South Africa out the blue. Before Bongo Wata came to South Africa, a team of Rastas from Cape Town was led by Ras Gabri. Ras Gabri came out to London here with King Tubbies, Papa Ras, and some other brethrens. When Ras Gabri came to London, he came to high JahBunny. And as such, the delegation came to high with Gabby, and it was high JahBunny who took the brethren then, because they came to I, they knew I. It was I who take Ras Gabri and introduce him to the Rasta International Headquarters here in St. Agnes Place. A bingy was held at St. Agnes Place to accommodate the South African delegation. At the time, I was functioning out of Rastafari Universal Zion, based in North London, Tottenham to be exact. At the time, that organization was run by Ras Devon, Ras Keith, Ras Juna, and others. I was a functioning member of that organization, Rastafari Universal Zion. So as such, the South African delegation was put in touch with RUZ, and it was at RUZ that Bongo Wata, if I am not again misquoting, a delegation of RUZ Rastas came to South Africa, and after that, that's when the Rastas them organized and Bongo Water came in. After Bongo Water came in, again, Bongo Time came from Jamaica and came again to RUZ. Both Bongo Time and Ras Gabri was staying with Ras Joseph, who also now passed away. It is very sad for me to be going forward into this history. And the reason being, all these brethren have passed on to the ancestors. I don't know, and I have no reason to be misconstruing the fact. And I don't know why. I think King Tobias is still around, Papa Ras is still around, and other brethren is still around. They're not speaking of their trad. And the only reason why I am speaking is because I'm chronicling my journey and what I participate in. I have no other reason. I'm just speaking my chronicle. So all that I said just now and all that I wrote can be verified by Ras Trevor Hall, because every time Ras Trevor Hall came from Zimbabwe, he came to my yard to stay in the Ponte City, or when I was living in Yorville on Regent Street. So I don't know why he's not highlighting or making any correction where it deemed necessary. But I'm not trying to put down anyone, and I'm not trying to hold on to any glory or any fame. I'm just JahBunny, better known as the Badass, the Rastafari International Ambassador. A brethren state, and that is correct, the first Nyabingi that I ever attend in South Africa, it wasn't in Soweto. The first Nyabingi that I attend in South Africa was it at Orange Free State. And there were no tabernacle then. It was just a gathering of thousands of brethren in open space. And when I saw what was being practiced then, that's when I get the idea that I need to go and get specifically my father. And I explained to y'all that when I went to Jamaica, the Jamaican government already took my father and have him at the university. So I came back to London and I organized with Ras Devon, Keith, and Junior. Keith and Junior is still here, and if they want, they can verify whatever I just said just now. I have no reason to make up anything, because there's nothing for I to gain from the works. I didn't do any of this for any personal gain. As I said, I came in South Africa to help liberate that. That's what I did.
Greetings, my ancient greetings. Greetings in the name of the Most High, Haile Selassie, King Rastafari. I greet you with a royal greetings. I greet you with love and peace and harmony under the name. Rastafari is in control. He ruleth and reigneth in eye and heart and mind and soul. We give thanks for such a wonderful, great, fundamentally reasonings. It is so great for I and I to get wonderful, great clarity. May ancient, I greet you with love. I Rast Joseph in the house of the higher being. I feel like it is great, my elder, to pass such a great clarity unto I and I. Yes, my elder, I'm one of the people which is also feeling little bit down, you know, as I and I find that we are the elders in the house of the Most High in the South Africa. We are putting one another down through the history. Because this is our story, my father. Nothing is new. This is our story. Now, I and I try to collect and I try to put up things on the right way, as I and I also did learn from the things which I and I was learned from the house of the Most High. I identify everyone which was here. Identify, and I never disagree. Identify 100%, you see. Because when I hear about Ras Gabriel, and then I hear about Traveler, you see, towards ancient Pongo time, ancient Congo Watu, then I feel blessed because I know I was here. Even when the ancient was also around here, right down there in Gauteng, I was there, my elder. I was there in Uvel, you see. I was there, my elder, you see. I was here everywhere. I was here, my elder. It's just me because of I'm a man which are not so highly educated. People cannot see me. You see, I'm on a down level, you see. But I'm here as a defender of the faith in righteousness, especially when it comes to Ayapingi. Because I and I was sit day and night, 24 hours, and I was sitting with Congo Watu, you see. And I was also learn gratefully teachings which the elder was teaching I and I about the Nayapingi, you see. Because some of us in the Nayapingi, you see, you can see even in the eyes, the people are still not yet accepted I and I. You see, you can see them, you see, my elder. We are one under the name. But when it comes to the love of the Most High, we have to practice this thing very strongly, my elder. Very strongly. I give thanks, my elder. Enough respect unto you, my elder. Enough respect, my ancient. Just to hear the voice, the words of motivation, you see. There is no force, there is no fight, my elder. It's only one thing. I need the truth. And I stand for the truth. And I don't want to be fooled by a next man, you see. I stand for the truth, my elder. It's why I was sacrificed to trod on in this road of Rastafari. I give thanks for the night hour, my elder, to hear the voice. Let's arise, let all his enemies scatter. Let all those who hate him, let him flee before the fire. And let I and I stand firm and continue praise the Almighty I, Jah, Rastafari, King Haile Selassie, the full survivor. Sila Jah. Give thanks, Father. Give thanks, my Father. Rastafari bless Selassie.
Yeah, Rastafari Adunia. Jaja bless. Put a fire on political press. One more stress on the foreign press. Light up for the cross dresser and them Rasta transgressor. One station with them information. JahBunny the badass station. Creation station. You can't stop it, nor slap it, nor clap it. Jaja.